I will be reading creepy, scary stories off Reddit. It is currently 3 a.m. in the morning, and that's why I'm kind of whispering right now. So grab a quick snack and get cozy and get ready to listen. My brother's bedroom was next door to mine growing up. One afternoon, he asked me what I was doing the previous night that made me laugh so much. Confused, I pressed him for details. About 3 a.m. last night, your laughter woke me up. It sounded like you were pacing your room too, pacing and laughing. At this point, I told him that I wasn't home last night. I'd been at my friend's house. He went pale. To this day, he swears blind that it was my laugh. I have a very distinct laugh, apparently. Oh my god, that is so creepy. Ew. I can imagine hearing one of your siblings like pacing and laughing hysterically. Like, that is so creepy. And the fact that like she wasn't even there. Oh my gosh, that is so freaking creepy. I don't know, but if one of my siblings told me that they heard that in my room, I don't think I would actually want to be in my room or even go in my room. That's too creepy. When I was 3, I woke up one night and saw what I ended up calling the Purple Man. He was this tiny purple silhouette of a man in a coat with a hat. He had no features on his face. He played around my room for a little while. I followed him wherever he went to watch. At one point, he waved to me and just disappeared. I never saw the Purple Man again after that. Fast forward to a few years ago. My then 3-year-old son was napping in my room at my parents' house. When I got him, he told me he saw this little purple man in the room. I could feel the blood drain from my face. I told my mom and she looked completely freaked out since she remembered me talking about it when I was little. I questioned my son, who just told me the purple man was in the room and then went away. My daughter is 3 now. I'm waiting to see if this happens to her too. It's just so creepy that my son saw the purple man too. I never mentioned it to him at all. He does have a habit of seeing weird things though. Another time, he asked my mom who the smiling man was sitting next to her on the couch. There was no one there. ... Oh my god, that is... Ooh, that's so creepy. If my son ever came up to me and started seeing things, no. Especially if it's like in an apartment or in a home, I feel like I would actually move out. I don't deal with creepy things like that. Like, no, thank you. By the way, this is like my first time reading all of these, so I'm getting like very scared right now, especially since it's like 3 a.m. in the morning. Okay. When I was about 11, I started hearing whispering in my room. It didn't sound like it was in my head. It was coming from a corner in my room. Ew. I didn't really know any better, and so ... I talked back to the voice. Ew, why would you talk back to the voice? Like, no. Everyone knows this. Well, I really hope everyone does know this, but whenever you hear anything, even just the slightest whisper, even just them calling your name, never respond. Never, oh my god, never ask it anything. Oh my god, that is so creepy. Going back to the story, I talked back to the voice. I asked what it was, what its name was, and it answered. Of course it's gonna answer. Oh my god. She said she was a little girl named Mary and that she was a ghost. Fun fact, my little sister is called Marisol and I call her Mary, so this is actually creepy. One day, I, in brackets, stupidly, do not do this, asked if she would show herself, and she did. I heard a whisper that said yes, and this ... Energy manifested itself right before my eyes. It was a weird purple mist. I absolutely freaked out, of course, like the frick. Ran out of my room and into the living room, where I watched it follow me down the hall. Ew. Made its way over to in front of the wall beside our couch and turned into the shadow of a little girl. Oh my gosh. I ran outside, extremely effing freaked out, called my mom and was texting my friends like crazy. I was so scared that she picked me up and brought me to the office. In brackets, we have a family business with her. The energy followed me all day. I saw it in the office. It followed me to lunch at a restaurant. It tugged at my hair the next day. I eventually commanded it to leave me alone, and we moved out of the apartment pretty soon after for unrelated reasons. Genuinely, the scariest thing that happened to me. I don't have any conditions that cause me to hallucinate, nor would I have been taking anything at the time that might have caused it. Oh my gosh, that's actually so creepy. Oh my gosh, first of all, never respond or ask it to any questions, especially to appear itself. Like, why would you do that? Why? I don't know who wrote this like story. By the way, very, very creepy. And you clearly creep me out. But why? And I'm so curious to why you actually asked it to appear itself. Like, I don't know. Like, that's so creepy to me. I feel like if I ever heard anything like whispers, that's just creepy on its own. Like, you have guts to even like not be scared and ask it to appear itself. Like, that's crazy. I lived in an old apartment in 2002. The place was built in 1900s, so it was just over 100 years old when I moved in. The living room and kitchen were fine, but the bathroom and bedroom were unnerving. Like, I just always felt like I was being watched, especially in the bedroom if the closet door was open. Those unnerving feelings just became moderately uncomfortable as I settled in. I felt safe in the bedroom, but only if the door was locked. One night, I was dead asleep when there was a loud bang on my bedroom door. When I got up the courage to get out of bed, I checked the apartment and all the windows were closed and locked from the inside. The door still had the chain secured. No one was in there. I mentioned the closet in the bedroom. I never liked going in there, and I never liked if the door was open. For some reason, in my head, I would hear gasping noises. So for that reason, the closet stayed closed. A month or more after I was woken to the bang on my door, I was dead asleep, but something woke me up, and it was a pressure on me like being held down. It was pitch black in my room. I couldn't see anything, but I knew someone was standing over me. Ew. When I could finally turn on a bedside lamp, no one was there. After that, I couldn't sleep in the dark. I had to sleep with a lamp on. That incident scared the life out of me. And after that, the unnerving feeling of being watched intensified. Friends would come over and comment about being uncomfortable in the bathroom, like being watched. It became so uncomfortable for me. When I had the chance to move to another unit, I jumped at it. I packed up and got out. After me, several people rented the apartment, and they would move out within months. I became friendly with the building manager, and I told him that I felt the place was haunted. He kind of laughed it off. Years after, they were renovating the place. Building managers was doing some painting in there. The building owner was there too. I went and checked out the apartment, and it looked nicer. It didn't feel as creepy. I got to talking with the building owner, and through the course of conversations, he just throws it out there that a former tenant committed suicide. Oh my gosh, in the closet by hanging himself. Oh, I just got chills. That's so creepy. He also mentioned that the original designer, oh my god, I actually have chills, okay. He also mentioned that the original designer of the building lived in that apartment and died in there. Oh my gosh. So it was already like 2 people that just passed away in there. I wasn't mad when I heard that, but felt validated that what I experienced was real. I have seen enough things that I no longer get, in quote, scared, but I will share 3 things. The most recent was within the last 5.5 months. A friend of 20 plus years passed away last September. He was a heavy smoker and collected magazines. A few weeks after he moved on, my home would smell like wet cigarette butts in an ashtray and boxed books. This went on for about a week, and I wasn't the only one who could smell it. I drove to visit my grandmother, whose house is notoriously haunted. Everyone has seen or heard something after my mother passed away. As my grandmother and I were talking in the living room, I saw this thing, which I dismissed as eye fatigue from driving several hours, floating down a hallway towards the living room. It was transparent as a jellyfish and was the size of a standard can of paint. I watched it slowly move towards us and ignored it until it started darting in and out of the entryway into the kitchen. At that point, I got up briskly and walked outside, leaving my grandmother in the mid-sentence. She followed me outside and I told her what happened. She said there was nothing in the house that could hurt me, to which I said, in brackets, but it can make a person hurt themselves. Yes, I have a mouth on me. We eventually went back inside, but I sat in a different chair so that I couldn't look down the hallway. A year before that, my daughter, who was a little over 2 years old, and I went to visit. As we were leaving, I asked if she had a nice time, and she said yes, but who was the other lady? I tried getting a description from her, but she could tell in my voice something was wrong and told me that she didn't want to talk about it. I tried again, and she said, I don't want to talk about it. We drove in silence until she fell asleep in the car seat. I called my grandmother after we had gotten home, and we talked about it for a while. Okay, a fourth thing. A relative passed away last year, and I stayed 3 days at the house, slept in the living room. The first night, something kept pulling on the bed. This went on for a while and stopped once I ignored it. Oh, I really wish this person wrote more. Honestly, it left me like hanging. First, I'm going to say I'm very skeptical of this kind of stuff, but I have had one encounter that I cannot explain. It may not sound spine-chilling reading it, but it creeped me out, and I still think about it all these years later. So I was 15 years old. My mom and my dad and I moved to a new house out in the country. When we moved, my parents had brand new carpet put into the house before we moved in. Our third night there, it was just my mom and I. My dad was gone for work, and my mom was telling me good night. And as she was walking out my door, she stops and looks at the floor and says, "That's creepy." I get up and I look, and there is a full single small footprint in the carpet facing towards the doorway to my room. Ew, that is creepy. One footprint, and it was smaller than my mom's footprint and my footprint. We checked. It creeped my mom out and myself out because brand new carpet. No one else had been in the house since we moved in except us three. And the footprint was definitely not there the first 2 days we lived there. My mom is Old Testament religious and doesn't believe in that stuff. But even now, 13 years later, when I bring it up, she refuses to talk about it. I often wonder where that footprint came from and who it belonged to. I rented a room in New England Farmhouse, grad school. First night, about 2 in the morning, I had a very, very clear feeling I was being checked out by some sort of house spirits, but they approved. I went back to sleep. First time, my girlfriend came over. She sat up in my bed. I asked what's up, and it was almost word for word. Something was checking her out, but there was no threat. A few weeks later, my brother came over. Next morning, unprompted as he came downstairs, he said he felt like something was checking him out at night, but it was okay. A new housemate later said the same thing his first morning. None of them knew each other. It was weird. 4 guests in a New England farmhouse said spirits checked them out the first night. Yeah, I definitely feel like I've actually have experienced something like that, especially in like my parents' home. I do remember going into the basement and feeling like eyes were glued onto me, and it was really actually creepy for a long period of time. But I'm pretty sure like my parents, they brought like holy water and did like a prayer and everything, and I don't know, like till this day, I still kind of feel a little bit like that, but not as like strong as I used to back then. But it was very creepy. Like I'd be doing my laundry and I literally would feel like someone was like staring at me, and I don't know. If you know, you know. You know what I mean? Sometimes we be feeling like that, and then we turn around and it's like no one's there, and then your hairs just stick up. It's just very creepy. From 2011 until 2022, I lived in a house with multiple spirits inhabiting that space. First, it started with smells, noises, scratching, and bumps and bangs. Progressed to growling in my ear, physical hits on the head, rattling doors, and the dead. Okay, first of all, why would you even stay in a home if you're hearing all of those things? That's so creepy. Running in the hallway outside in my bedroom, lights going on and off, taps, left running. Then the apparitions began. Physical assaults began, biting, scratching, being forced into the bed, things standing around in the bed 6 inches from my face, hooded figures around 8 feet tall with burning red eyes. Burning red eyes. Oh my gosh, that's when you know it's like the devil. Like, what the heck? Things coming through portals, trying to drag me out of my body, things climbing on the bed, trying to pull me out of the bed, throwing the duvet off me.
Wait.
Being strangled.
Stop. So all this happened and you're still in that house.
I was gonna say, what the frick?
Girl.
Being strangled, and it is a place I never wish to return to ever again. Like, from 2011 until 2022. Why would you stay in this house? Whoever wrote this,
11 years.
I don't know if I can say the name, but like, why would you stay in a home where all of this is like happening to you? You're pretty much like suffering for like, what, 11 years? Oh my gosh.
Are you like the children of Israel? That you're gonna stay in bondage for 11 years and not even move? Bro.
Yeah. Okay, so that's where we leave it off too, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys had a very, very lovely night. These stories were really creepy. I hope you guys got scared a little bit. Reading stories from Reddit is really interesting, so I will be coming out with probably a part 2. But don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And comment down below any of your creepy, scary stories. I would actually love to read some of those. Have a great night.